Hey everybody. So for today's workout, we're going to do some ab work for the skill training, and then we're going to move on to our workout, which has a whole bunch of different movements in it. So for the skill, we're going to do 100 sit-ups and then 100 Russian twists. You do need to do it in the order written, so you're going to finish your 100 sit-ups, and then you'll do your 100 Russian twists. And if the rep count is too high, obviously scale that down. The Russian twist, we should be able to all get that, but the sit-ups might be a lot for some of us. So for the sit-up, what we're looking for is you're laying on the floor, shoulders on the floor, feet on the floor with your knees out to the side, so you're butterflying your legs. The reason we do that is to take some of this movement out of the hip flexors and try to isolate the abs a little more. If you have an ab mat, use it. If you don't have an ab mat and you don't have that support under your lumbar spine, we'll do it without. You can always roll up a towel or something to put under your lumbar, your lower back. But otherwise, we're just doing the sit-up on the floor. You're going to touch the floor behind your head, and you're going to reach up and touch the floor in front of your feet, not at your feet, not behind your feet, not your heels, but reach up, get that floor all the way up. That's your full range of motion. For the Russian twists, we're going to start with whatever object we're holding on the floor. You're going to twist all the way over it and touch it to the other side of the floor. Every time you tap it to the floor, that's one rep. You do need to touch it to the floor. That's the standard. Your feet are in the air, butt on the floor. What you're using here is whatever you'd like. If you have a med ball, use it. If you have something that's somewhat heavy, use it up to 20 pounds. I did this the other day with a full paint can. So whatever you have around your house that has some weight to it. So we're going to do 100 and 100 for time. And then we're going to move on to the workout. The workout is a Fight Gone Bad style workout. Fight Gone Bad is a CrossFit workout that is this format with different movements than this. So in the blue or the black, they are basically the same. The only difference here is the first movement. If you don't have push-ups off your knees, we'll do them on the knees. So let's go over that push-up first. So for 1 minute, you're going to do the push-ups, whether you're on your knees or off them. If you're on your knees, we're going for chest to the floor, elbows fully extended at the top. Let's get that full range of motion. Don't half rep it. Let's get all the way down, all the way up. If you're having trouble with it, so you get less reps in, but they're good reps. And then obviously the push-up, it's the same thing, but we're just chest to the floor, elbows extended. The legs never touch the floor. If you find your legs or thighs hitting the floor every time, it's probably a good idea to go to your knees. Okay, so we're going to do that for a full minute. You're counting your reps. How many reps did you get in a minute? That's your score for the push-ups. Then we move right on to the next movement. So you set your interval timer to beep every minute, and then when it beeps, you go right into the next movement, which is the Russian step up. We're on the box, just stepping up onto a box, one leg at a time. The opposite leg from the one that stepped is going to go knee up higher than the hip crease. That's the standard. We get the knee up above the hip crease. Okay, and then obviously we switch legs. Every leg is one rep. We're continuing the count, so our rep count continues from our push-ups. The next movement is the bench dip. So we're using a box, and obviously this doesn't need to be a box, as the Russian step up doesn't either. Just a chair or a stair or something to step onto. Okay, and we're going to get down to about parallel here and then press all the way back up. If you're having trouble with the straight legs, you can bend your knees and flatten your feet to scale that movement a little bit, and that's your bench dip. The next movement we're going to do is the mountain climber. So we start in the top of the plank position like we're at the top of a push-up, and then you're going to bring your knees up toward your chest. You do want to get your knees higher than your hip crease. That's your goal. You don't have to tap that foot down to the floor each time. You just want that knee up above the hip crease. That's your standard. And then back to extended leg. Each leg is one rep. And then we move on. Once your timer beeps, we go right into the box push-ups, which is the last movement that we are doing here. And this box push-up, we are on a box or a chair, whatever you have, and you're going to go, you're in that plank position, you're going to go all the way down so your chest touches the chair or touches the box, and then you're going to press it all the way back up. If you can't get that full range of motion on the box push-up, rather than doing half reps, I'd like you to do a wall push-up. So we're up against the wall here, and this is a really difficult one to get your chest to the wall because your face gets in the way, but you get as close to it as you can without slamming your head into the wall, and then press it back out. And then you can play around with how low you go here, but we're looking for, once again, range of motion as close to the wall as you can go, and then press those elbows all the way back out. So we're going to do each one of those movements for 1 minute. You're going to continuously count your reps so that you have one big rep count. At the end of your fifth movement, you'll move into minute 6. That's a rest minute. And then we do the whole thing again, because we're doing this 3 rounds. So it's basically 3 rounds with 1 minute rest between stations. The whole thing will take you 17 minutes exactly. And at the end, you'll have one big number, and that'll be your score. Log your scores on beyond the whiteboard. If you have any questions about anything, don't be afraid to reach out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.